Navy Hall is one of Bloomsburg University's landmarks and is still up and running since the 1930s. This is what I found about this historical building. The construction of Navy Hall at Bloomsburg College was started in 1938, 18 years after the initial decision was reached to have a junior high school on its campus. But with the Great Depression still looming and no state money available to fund the building, Navy Hall's construction did not commence until much later. In 1937, Bloomsburg State Teachers College applied for federal grant to fund the construction of Navy Hall. It took a full year to build the school, but due to lack of funding to support the upkeep, maintenance, and installation of electricity, the building was initially used as a summer school for a few years. With the start of World War II in Europe, military preparedness became important on the national and local levels. In 1940, the college began a program for training civilian pilots in conjunction with the local airport, a program that made Bloomsburg an ideal location for hosting the Navy V-5 program for flight instructors beginning in 1942. A V-12 program for training officers was started, and both programs are credited with keeping the college open during the war. Enrollment reached record numbers at the war's conclusion, swelled by returning veterans, and after a brief decline in the early 1950s, the number of students once again increased. The V-5 and V-12 program left a mark on the campus at the BSTC that can be seen today in the name of Navy Hall. There were about 130 other schools in the country that trained naval officers, but we had more naval personnel come here who were trained as officers, and the faculty that were here on campus used their skills, whether it be in science or English or their normal teaching load, to train the naval cadets so they could be qualified to be in military service. And so, Navy Hall became very important and was informally called that because that's where the Navy were until October 1945, when the war was over and the naval training program ended. With the increased growth of the Business Education Department since its start in 1930 under Harvey Andrus, in 1958, work had already begun on what is now Sutliff Hall, which was going to be the headquarters not only of business education, but also would house new science laboratories. That move opened up Navy Hall again, and the basement of Navy Hall was remodeled to house the special education program, comprised mainly of speech and hearing therapy. Since the special education has been the main occupant of Navy Hall, over the years it has expanded some. Navy Hall is now 75 years old, but is still continuing quite well to serve the university and the special education needs of our students. Bloomsburg University still excels in its special education program today. Navy Hall is one of the few buildings on campus to be not named after someone. Bloomsburg University is one of the few schools in the country to offer American Sign Language program that is held here in Navy Hall. This is Kareem Norton from In Focus.